2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Azatec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online. Or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info. Or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the EEWC round number 4, 12 hours of Interlagos. We are 7 hours in, 5 remain, as we still have only lost one of our competitors. Absolutely great stuff. As the races continued, there were a couple of pit stops whilst we were away. Juha Mikiopi was one of them in the Juice's car, pitted along with Angel Benegas in the MCM Motorsports Aston Martin as well, but Angel's pit was much shorter. We don't think they took tyres, so now that gap is about 30 seconds, as you can see on the tower. Interestingly, the MCM Motorsport car is suddenly less than a lap behind the ID Sim Sport. They're a long way ahead of the ID Sim Sport car, the DIS Sim Racing Lab car. So. And the DIS car is now really getting back onto pace. So I'm assuming they've also had a pit stop. Now, they were over a lap ahead of the MCM car before. So that has changed as time's gone on. There is the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche. It's getting back into the 30s, 136.56 last time around. Let's see what they can do on this occasion. Let's see as Enricoya comes over the line as well for Glam Racing with 33.0 for the 404 Audi, a 31.0 for the DIS Porsche. There's a 32.3 for Alexander Sescher in the Azatec Simsport Audi. 31.19 for Benegas. So very similar times between the lead two GTEs. So that shorter stop for Benegas has allowed it to at least be on the same lap, on the lead lap, as the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche is. Will that pay off as the race continues? We will see. A few more pit stops have gone on. Yune Simoncic in the burst, or the leading burst car, the number 18 DPI, I think has been through the pits, along with Janssen Bint in the 15 Deuces car. And Tom Oldermenger now takes over the number 94 Burst Esports LMP car. And Nabil Aslan has indicated to his crew that he's going to be coming in soon. The number 21 Sem 9 Axle car will be visiting the pit lane fairly soon. There is the dual shaded Tom Oldermenger, sporting a pair of Goodr sunglasses indeed. That's the orange pair, of course, and with the GTR 24H emblem on the aforementioned raincoats that we saw him in earlier on. Good to see Tom back out there. So, he's been going a few hours. Not as many as Carl Likegaard, who's up at 5 a.m. this morning, work for 6 hours, is doing this, and then working another 6 hours tomorrow. That's quite dedication to the cause. There's Engal Benegas, just getting ahead of the Gadget Husa car. And there's Yone Simoncic, scraping away along the ground. Oh, who's yellow flagged in sector 2? Don't know. It disappeared too quickly before I caught who it was. But Peter Vagapov is at least on the lead lap, on the same lap as Yone Simoncic. So Unison have closed that gap down a bit as the race has gone on. But DIS still have a comparatively comfortable lead in the GTE field. But saying that, Benegas is now starting to get into the 30s again with a 130.879 for the number 27 Aston Martin. There's Jenny Simoncic once again in 120.877 his last lap. Our GT3 leader, Alexander Sescher, 132.494 was their last lap. 132.436 was Enricoya, his closest competitor. Words are starting to fail me now. We're over halfway in the broadcast, and brain is melting. So expect a fair amount. Well, I was going to say expect a fair amount of nonsense. We've had that all broadcast long, quite frankly, from me. But we'll have quite a bit more of it as we carry on. Now, Angel Benegas does seem to be really pressing on at the moment, although last time around 32.0, whereas the DIS car was a 31.1. I think Angel may well be really trying to push to close in on that DIS Porsche. We'll see if that is the case as we look at the Azatec Audi. That is Alexander Sescher in control of that one, and that is his camera. You see at the top right corner. Briefly. That's the 404 Glam Racing Audi. Henry Coyer in command of that one, with the DIS Porsche right behind. The 404 cars on lap 271. The DIS Porsche on lap 274. The number 74 Deuces has come in. No, that's been in recently. We were just talking about the pit stops that they'd had. I wonder there's been an issue in pit stops for the 74 Deuces cars. Back underway again. Something strange has gone on there for the Deuces squad. There was a relatively short stop then for Maki Yalpi. So I wonder whether he didn't take tyres early on and should have done. But then he did quite a few laps before that was the case. So not sure what the issue is there. Maybe somebody from Duties could let us know if they've had a problem. I'm just going to double check if we have any further messages I can bring forward, and no is the answer to that. Well, something we mentioned earlier on was the track map that Yusuf Bin Sahel came up with. I did see that. I was going to see if I could bring that up. Here we go. So this was to do with kind of racing events that have happened in the past. Because you couldn't remember the corner names, and in fairness, I have to look at a track map as well. So Turn 1, which is just called Turn 1, is the Hulkenberg Annihilation Corner. I think these are Formula 1 related names. There's the Hulkenberg Annihilation Corner. Center S is Ocon's Unlapping Corner. And it'll be where Ocon smashed into Max Verstappen as Max was trying to... as Ocon was trying to unlap himself from Max, and they both ended up off the road. And then coming on to... coming out of the centre is the Max around the outside corner, apparently, and the straight leading down to Decidio del Lago is the Ferrari KEKW straight, and then Decidio del Lago is Jos Verstappen corner. The area on the outside is the Max defensive line runoff, and oh my God, how did Seb still win the title on the inside line? On the way, also the Parc Fermé area is apparently no touchy Lewis's wing Parc Fermé, and then the no corner names for Ferradura, Larangina and Esse, but coming back down to Peronino is can I press the throttle yet? And then as we come up to Bica de Pato, it's haha no Albon podium. That's cruel. Yusuf Bin Sahel, that is cruel. And as you then come down through Mugello, it's no touchy curb corner. That's certainly quite nasty in F1 zones. And then Junshao is, in capital letters, is that Glock. And then on the outside line of Junshao is the Kim getting lost escape road. And oh yes, the final turn is the sick Max save bend. Absolutely, that was the halves. Was it the spin he had in the wet and kept it out of the wall? I think that was an awesome save. So thank you for that, Max. Thank you for that, Max. Thank you for that, Yusuf Bin Sahel. That's amusing alternative corner names. I think I'll stick to the original ones. Call me traditionalist, call me boring, but I'll stick with those. Whilst we've been away looking at that, let's see then, let's have a look. That is Karl Liekaert in the Katahusa car, still carrying on his merry way. And now the Glam Racing 404 is actually a full lap behind the Azatec car I can see on the tower now. So, goodness me, the 404 race is starting to slow down a little bit. This is a great shame because they were challenging for that. They were leading at one point. But sadly, that has not continued into this phase of the race. But still 4 3/4 hours to go, so that can still change as time wears on. Who else is close to somebody? Well, Yuho Makiyapi is fairly close to the back of somebody. Is he close to the back of Angel Benegas? If that is the case, then that's been a hell of a charge. Yeah, 30.9 last time around for Maki Yalpi. Also, yeah, he had to do an extra stop, didn't he? So, actually, no, who is he close to? Oh, he's close to the back of Henrik Hoyer. I was going to say, he's closed in a lot of time if he's close to the back of Angel Benegas, but no, Yuha Maki Yalpi is close to the back of Henrik Hoyer. So, those two are probably not going to challenge each other for position at this point, as they're in different classes. Anyone else in the pits? Not at this stage. Oh, the race then carries on its merry way. And yep, number 74 car is now very, very close to the tail end of the 404. There's a, you can tell if it's a DPI that's coming up behind you just by the amount of sparks being chucked up into the air. There's Yone Simoncic that's just gone past the car we were looking at. There is Henri Koya, the 404, so he's just been passed by Ivar Miki Yelpi, who's got quite some distance to find before he can get on the back of Angar Benegas. Actually a full lap. So that's why I was thinking, why is he suddenly 1.1 behind someone? Just realising he was the GT3 car, he was 1.1 seconds behind. That makes a bit more sense now. As Henri Koya continues his way in the 404 car, with, well, some distance, shall we say, to find before if he could look to challenge the Alex Sesha in the Azatec car. Full lap, indeed, is what separates them. The time you can see on the tower is the distance between himself and the Juha Maki Yaupi, muddling up syllables then, is only going to get worse as the broadcast goes on, in third position in the GTEs. Oh, let's get some liquid in my trap. Let's see if that can help me get the syllables right. Oh, my apologies, caller. Okay. So at this stage, there's not too much kind of challenge for position going on. You know, it's well over halfway in the race now, and there's not going to be a huge amount of challenge of position challenges going on. This is going to be a case of how the strategy plays out. That's going to be the biggest thing, and who's going to be taking tyres and when. So not many people are on the same lap as one another even, so this could it could be quite difficult for us to talk about who's challenging for where. Certain positions are almost kind of guaranteed. Oh, there's a yellow flag for the 79 Axel car that's now in the hands of Alistair Young. So the 21 car has now changed hands, so it's going to be something to talk about. As the Malaysian driver now is doing what he can in the 79 car. I know that Alistair struggled a little bit with that LMP2 car in the past. Hopefully he can start to find his feet again and start to turn the laps. There he is. The brother, I believe it is, of racing driver Alex Young. It's coming through the center resters now. Again, utilising the runoff area on the outside line. Absolutely fine. Then Desida Delago, and Alistair has company in the background. Fair enough. It's his own fan club going on there. Why not? Why not? As Alistair is catching the back of Marcus Steyer in the ID Sims car. Oh, that snapped very suddenly, but very quickly recovered. That was an excellent recovery there from Alistair Young. Truth, that really snapped away very suddenly, but he managed to get that one back on the straight and narrow very, very quickly indeed. So great effort there from Alistair. But and these LMP cars are not easy to drive. Any time I've tried to drive an LMP2 car, doesn't matter what the sim is, I have not done well in it. So I can sympathise with Alistair there. These are very tricky beasts to hang on to at the best of times, because he's racing in the dark here at a challenging circuit, of course being Interlagos, as he works his way past, nearly collected by, or it looked like it was close between himself and Marcus Steyer. It may not have been as close as the camera made it look. The 79 Axel car now carrying along its merry way. It is a couple of laps down from Tom Olmendenger. Can't get that right. Oldenmenger. Again, muddling up syllables, so sorry. Oh no, what's happened to our race leader? Yone Simoncic. Has Yone Simoncic disconnected? He's in the garage from the race lead. Now I can see on his camera that he's still with us, but he's not looking very happy. Oh no! Now, did I not say not that long ago that it's always worth continuing in case they have trouble, in case someone has trouble? Oh my goodness me! Is that a DNF for the burst squad? Is that a disconnect or is it an issue? Did he hit escape? Which is what happened to the 717 car. Oh my goodness me! With 4 hours and change to go. Ah, no, Jurnej Simoncic is back out on track, so no, it's not a disconnect. Oh no, sorry, it was a disconnect. It wasn't a disqualification or anything like that, but that does take quite a big chunk out of the lead that the number 18 car had. Not enough to lose the lead. It's certainly lost a fair amount of time. That hands the overall race lead to the number 15 car, the Deuces Motorsports car currently being driven by Janssen Bins, and right behind Jurnej Simoncic that's the same 9-axle car. That's Alistair Young. That's picking up a drag up the hill. So we'll see if Alistair can stay in the tyre tracks of Jurnej Simoncic, which is very, very hard to do at the best of times. As Henrik Hoyer carrying on his merry way in the 404 car. He's fairly comfortably ahead of Carl Liekegaard in the number 777 car. No, steady, Henrik. Where are you going? Whoa, that's close. Struth. There's nowhere really Henrik could have gone then. He couldn't have gone any closer to the pit wall. Crikey, that was very, very close. And we might have another interview being lined up here. That would be fantastic. Of Maciej Kasperczyk is offered to come and have a chat to us. So hopefully we'll have a chat with one of the drivers of the 585 Azatec car. We'll get him in here as quickly as we can. We get an opportunity to have a chat with our GT3 leading team. As soon as he joins the green room, we will get him in the studio with us to have a bit of a chat. As Henrik Hoyer is still going round, but what is he able to do? Still in the 33s is Henrik. So again, no disrespect meant, but it's a little bit off the GT3 pace that has been set by Alexander Sescher. Well, was certainly set by Kasperczyk earlier on. Still second in the GT3s and by quite some way, so they would have to lose a whole lap and then some to be challenged by the Gadget Husi car. So not under any immediate pressure. And as we are approaching the bottom of another hour, 4.5 hours to go of Interlagos. Now, I'm looking at the DPI list, and Jurnej Simoncic is in trouble again, as he's now behind the 17 Unison car. Now, I'm sure he came out of the pits still ahead of the Unison car. I'm certain he did. But now he's 30 seconds behind. So has the burst car had further trouble, or have they had to come into the pits again? We will. They seem to be back at the pace, but Jurnej Simoncic now brings himself behind the Unison Racing number 17. Still waiting for Maciej Kasperczyk to head to the green room so we can get him in here and have a chat to him. It'll be awesome to have a chat to him. So we are 5 minutes away from another commercial break here. GTR 24H. As we continue to watch Henry Coy on his merry way. What does he do? It's 32.5 that time, so that was a bit quicker than the Gadget Husik car, in fairness. So good lap there from Henry Coy. But you can't entirely compare it to the best lap of the team, as that was done in the daylight hours. So with the surprise disconnect from the 18 car, let's see how that's affected the race overall. The race now being led by two LMP cars. The number 15 Juices Motorsport Club car, Jansen Bintz, has that, is at the helm of that car right now, and is leading Tom Aldermenger in the Burst car, the Burst number 94 car, by at least a lap, or by just over a lap, and it's Peter Vagapov in the number 17 Unison car in third on the road and leading the DPI class by what is now 28 seconds. So Yone Simičić is getting back up to pace again. Now, Vagapov last time around was a 21.3, whereas Yone Simičić was a 20.1, so 1.2 seconds to Burst's favour there. Again, that just highlights you cannot give up, even though you've got a comparatively comfortable lead. One problem, one disconnect, and suddenly the whole structure of the class changes. And that sort of disconnect can happen to anyone. Now, either a disconnect or a game crash or some kind of technical fault that puts Yone Simičić 30 seconds behind the other DPI car. And if that happens right at the death of the race and you haven't got time to recover from it, you've suddenly lost the win. So anything is absolutely possible in endurance racing. As we see Peter Vagapov come past the ID Simsport car of Mark Steyer, who starts another lap number 317 to be precise. So we're into the 300 lap range now. We're certainly going to be in the 500s before Czechoslovakia. We're not going to quite hit 600 because we were way past the halfway point when we hit lap 300. So we're not going to quite hit 600, but we will certainly get into the 500 range. So great job from our drivers on that regard. You won't quite see Yone Simičić in that shot. He's a little bit too far back, but he is doing what he can to close back in on the Unison car. And again, it would be interesting to see if the Unison car puts up a bit of a fight, because it's certainly been that the 18 cars had the pace advantage all race long. That will be for the lead of the class. And it's going to be who decides who gets the 25 points instead of the 18 for the race result. So they very well could put up as best a fight as they can, but the raw pace difference, I think, will make that a very, very difficult defense to pull off. But anything is possible. We've seen numerous times where people have been boxed in behind back markers, so that could be a tactic that Peter Vagapov puts to good use. Never mind, that whole build-up has now been for absolutely nothing, as Peter Vagapov has just pitted. Oh, goodness me. There's a variety of cars. So there's Peter Vagapov, Henry Coy, Yone Simičić, and Tom Aldermenger. Oh, we're switching cars now. So there's Michael Francesconi, bottom right-hand corner. Yone Simičić is your top right. Tom Aldermenger is on both of the left-hand ones. So it's getting a good view on various cars, but the 94 Burst car now a lap behind the Juices car. So Jansen Bintz, I keep saying Blitz, Bintz is, you can actually see the two LMP2 leaders right with one another, but they are a lap apart. So they're not challenging each other for the lead just yet, but time will tell. That LMP lead change has changed hands many, many times in the course of the race. Henry Coy still into the 32, so 32.8 last time for him, 31.7 for Zasha, and 32.6 for Liefgaard. So yeah, right in there with the GT3 pace. What about our GTEs? 31.2 for DIS, 31.8 for Benegas in the MCM car, and 31.3 for Makialpi in the Deuces Motorsport car. And we are now at the bottom of another hour. 4.5 hours remain here in Interlagos. Let's have those commercial messages. We will have those commercial messages very shortly. Production having a bit of a problem, it would seem. As we have a look at our LMP leader, there's Janssen Bentz. That would be a battle for LMP2 lead with the car not directly behind. That's a DPI car there. But it is just over a lap between our LMP leaders. And we do have a couple of people wanting to come and have a chat to us. They timed it well. We do have Mr. Kasperczyk in our green room, ready to come and have a chat to us. And there he is. Marcin Kasperczyk, are you with us?
Yeah, hello everyone.
Hello, great. Thank you very much for coming to have a chat to us. Oh wow, what a performance from the Azatec team. You must be pretty pleased.
Yeah, well, the preparation has been very tough, to be fair. We spent like 3 months of preparation, and yeah, hard work pays off. So I believe that we will take this victory. It's only like more or less 4 hours to go, so we will see what happens, because in endurance racing everything can happen, like you said on live stream, so let's see.
Absolutely so. I mean, you lead by a comparatively comfortable distance over Glam Racing at the moment. Are you back in the car a little bit later on, or
yeah.
Are you done for the night?
No, I will be back in 2 hours, I think, and I guess I will finish the race, so I'll be back, that's for sure.
It's me, just you and Alexander. That's a big order, 6 hours apiece. Great stuff. But when you were coming into this race, it was always really between you and Glam Racing. You were really, really close for quite a while. Were you concerned at all that Glam Racing were going to really be pushing you hard, or were you confident you had the pace over them?
Well, to be fair, usually when I try to focus on myself, and I know that I got pace, and yeah, I extend the gap from 8 seconds when Alicia gave me the car, and the gap when I gave to Alexander the car was like almost 1 minute, so 52 seconds. The gap was huge, so yeah, I'm quite happy with that, because I did no mistakes after all. So let's see what can I do at night, because yeah, the condition is very tricky, you know. It is a less grip, especially on the first turn. So yeah, we have to be very careful on that, because the curbs can kill you. That's so easy.
Very true, especially towards the tail end of the racing, we're all getting a bit more tired and these mistakes creep in. But we very much look forward to seeing how the race progresses for you. Thank you very much, Marcin Kasperczyk, pilot of the 585 Azatec car. Thank you kindly, sir. Excellent. Right, we will have our commercial break now. We do have Matthias Harvig wanted to have a chat to us, but let's have a word from our commercial sponsors first.
The 2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Azatec Sim Sports, Global Flicks, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry, NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back to the EEWC fourth round of the 12 hours of Interlagos. We have got less than 4.5 hours remaining, and we've got another driver to talk to. Matthias Herwig, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Oh, no hat. Disappointed.
I have it right here. I have it right here.
There it is. So we had a chat to Carl Leakegaard earlier on, so thank you very much for joining us. One of the drivers of the 777, the GSR Gata Husa car. It's been a bit of a struggle pace-wise, but as Carl was saying, I think that was always going to be the case for the Corvette here in Interlagos. How are you feeling the race has gone for you guys so far?
I feel like it has gone better than expected. I thought we were going to be quite more off pace with the Corvette not suiting the track as good as it has been on other tracks. But yeah, it's quite impossible to catch Azatec and Glam.
And it's just you and Carl in the car. That's a lot of driving. Absolutely great stuff. How much time do you put into practicing for an event like this, especially when there's just two of you that's going to be driving the car?
Yeah, there's definitely been some hours into practicing. Me and Carl has also done some offline training with him. So we have done some preparation. So yeah.
Great stuff. And so when are you getting back in the car?
After Carl has done his stint, I will probably be in the car. Don't know exactly how much time there is until he's done, but I will be in the car after he's done.
When he shouts at you, basically.
Yeah, when he shouts.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, best of luck, Matthias. You've done a great job just keeping it on the straight and narrow after so long. And with 4.5 hours still to go, we look forward to seeing you at the finish line. Thank you very much, Matthias Herwig. Great stuff. Thank you kindly, good sir. And another driver has come to have a chat to us as well. We got Alex Zescher again. He's stepped out of the Azatec car as Alicia Neto back in the car. Alex, are you with us?
Hey.
Good to hear from you again. My goodness me, it's really going well for you guys so far. How are you feeling about how your race has gone for the 585 Audi?
Oh, I think it's going really good. Other than the spin I made towards the beginning, it's been pretty much a flawless race.
I'll say. I mean, you got quite a colossal lead over the 404 car. You were really close together for a period of time. And now Alessio's back in the car. Oh my goodness, he's having to dance around the traffic a little bit. But he wisely got out of that one. I think there's been a bit of an incident with the 53 car, but not involving you guys. And I mean, yeah, you really couldn't have done much better. You've been just building that lead lap on lap on lap on lap, and what are you? You're quite some distance ahead of 404. Yeah, what more could you ask for? Is that down to how the track characteristics works for the Audi, or is it just down to all the practice you guys have put in?
I think it's well, Audi is strong around here. You cannot deny. But we have done a good amount of practice to make sure that we get the best result we could get. So, yeah, been a lot of good hard work.
Great stuff. And are you back in the car later on?
Maybe. It really depends because I started this stint I had right here. My game started to stutter. My force feedback was also stuttering. So yeah, that's why I needed to get out the car.
Ah, I see. Well, hopefully the gremlins don't pester you too much, and Alessio can do the business for 505. Thank you very much, Alex Asher. Great to hear from you again. Best of luck in the rest of the race.
Thank you.
Now, what on earth has happened to the 53? Big problem, I think, for Michael Francesconi. I think potentially involving the 166 car, because I saw both of them with a yellow flag, as Francesconi almost comes out into the path of somebody. And what's going on with the DIS car? That was very, very squiggly there. But something has happened to Francesconi. Back on track now is the 53 car, as we can see, is just leaving the pit lane. But there was a definite problem there, as you saw. It had returned itself to the garage, and it did have a yellow flag next to its name. Also, the number 17 car, that's Peter Vagapov in the Unison car, has got themselves a drive-through penalty for overtaking off track, and they're now actually finding themselves a minute behind Jenny Simoncic. So whilst they've been away with the drive-through penalty, it doesn't cost a minute. I think that's probably been a pit stop and a drive-through that's happened for the Unison car. But suddenly the Burst squad are back in front in the DPIs, but they're still about a lap ahead of the leading NMP2s. So this is what happened with the 53 car. But what's happened here? So they're coming through. Oh, got a bit, and a disconnect. There we go. So it wasn't. It looked like it was a very wide moment coming through to see the Delago, but it was just a straightforward disconnect there. So the yellow flag that Michael Peterson had in the 166 car was completely unrelated. It just happened to happen at the same time. As Benegas and the DIS Porsche are actually very close together on track, but they are not on the same lap. So they're not on the same. So the Benegas in the MTM car is about to be lapped for the second time by the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche. Slightly further back. Well, there's Francesconi we're looking at, and in the background, so you see that's the Deuces car that we just saw there. That was Maki Yalpi. There's Henrik Hoyer in the 404 Audi. 33.0 that time around, which with the track getting slipperier as Matthias was explaining, it's not surprising the pace is lower than what we would see in the daylight hours. As we look at Janssen Bintz in our race leading number 15 Deuces LMP2 car. And there's the sister car of Juha Maki Yalpi in the 74. It sits third in GTEs, about a minute-ish behind Anagal Benegas. It's certainly not impossible to overhaul a gap like that in the remaining 4 hours. There's more sparks from the bottom of the DPI car. Amazing they have any floor left in those things, considering how many sparks they're generating. There's Janssen Bintz. Leads the NMP2 by about 22.5 seconds over Tom Olmenegger in the Burst car. There's Angel Benegas. There's Angel Benegas in the second place GTE car. As you can see, the GTE leader is directly ahead of him, but 2 laps to the good now. Such has been the insatiable pace of the DIS car. They've done an absolutely storming job in the race so far. You cannot, don't count your chickens before they hatch, as the old English phrase goes. Anything can happen in the course of the race. We've seen by the disconnects we've recently seen. Anything can still happen. But Janssen Bint is still doing the job, though, in the number 15 car, as Tom Oldermenger has brought in the number 94. So that's going to make that lead very, very long for the number 15 car. Unless they're about to pit as well. Does the 94 change hands? Well, Tom is still in his rig. He's back on track, so no, the number 94 burst car did not change hands. There's the sister car, the DPI of Ione Simcic coming down the road, and there's the DIS Sim Racing Man Porsche coming into the pits again. Nothing to immediately worry about. They could have a meal. Such has been their lead. Again, no disrespect to the rest of the GTE field, but it's just been an absolute storming performance from the DIS Porsche. Ione Simcic quite wisely actually ducked into that particular queue rather than tries to overtake all 3 cars on the run down to the Descida de Largo. And then the GTEs start to have their own argument. Again, they're not on the same level. One of them is a GT3, which is Carl Lickergaard in the DSR Gadget, who's a Corvette. The rest of them will sort themselves out as time goes on. Let's have a rundown of who's where, shall we, in class order. So an overview of how everybody is doing. With 4 1/4 hours to go. We are going to be hitting the 2/3 mark very, very soon. As thought Simcic was going to go off the road there, but manages to keep it on the black stuff without losing any particular sign to Tom Oldermenger, who is a kind of a lap down by this stage. I beg your pardon, I'm looking at the wrong class. It's Peter Vagapov who's arguing with. He's a minute behind him now. As I was looking at LMP2s, I'm used to the DPIs being in the lead of the race, whereas it's actually LMP2 at the moment. And now Ione Simcic is on the same lap as his fellow burst car of Tom Oldermenger. But they will be looking to pass one another. So something has just made me laugh there. I can see that someone is having good fun with Henrik Hoyer's camera. We've got to show this on stream, please, production, because this is looking quite amusing. Obviously, Henrik Hoyer, we saw his rig earlier on. That was the one where the camera was mirrored. But someone's having good fun with his camera background. I'm suspecting that's Maria Rinhack, who has just informed me that Henrik looks like he's driving into a beach. There you go. Oh, I'm sure he was doing a little bit more than that. Yeah. That's scenic. I love the point that when that forest image came up, you then saw Henrik lean over to his left as he was trying to avoid one of the trees. That's actually what it looks like. It was far more fun when he looked like he was driving into the sea. I still love that gear counter at the top. That's fantastic. Oh, good job, Maria. Good job. Not that far off the top of the 8th hour. Goodness me. You poor souls have put up with me for that long. Oh, you smooth talker production, he said. It feels like we just got started, he said. Okie dokie. Who should we have a look at? Alicio Neto, our GT3 leader, is who we look at the moment. with a 32.3 last time around. What's he about to set? Let's see. 32.1. 32.195 in the leading Audi. Who's got the burst LMP2 right behind him of Tom Oldermanger as he comes past. How does the 32.1 compare to the other GT3s? Well, 132.7 for Henrik Hoyer and 33.1 for Carl Ikegaard is how that compares. So the Azatec Sim Sports car is continuing to head along his way, continuing to build that lead somewhat. I'm trying to say a note and read something at the same time. Oh, that ping usually indicates we have a oh, we've got someone to have a chat to. Cameron Roger, are you with us?
I am, hello.
Ah, well, hello, good sir. How have you found the race thus far?
It's been going pretty interestingly. Tom and Damien seem to have pretty good pace. Unfortunately, most of the time lost was because of my slowness, which is a bit annoying, but that's how it goes, and our main goal really is just to beat Axel today. But no, the race has actually been pretty good fun so far.
So are you climbing into the car later on, Cameron?
Probably at least for another stint, yeah. Just with the drive times, and also just giving Tom and Damien some rest as well. And on pure pace, we're not really going to catch juices, unfortunately, at the moment.
Well, I mean, the LMP2 lead for a while was constantly changing hands between all three teams. Did it seem like you were in the shot for the win, or was that realistically never on the cards?
I think we did at one point. Unfortunately, the first stint that I did, which I think was in like the second or third hour of the race, was a bit slow, so we ended up losing quite a bit of time, and then that just sort of snowballed a little bit as the race progressed. But yeah, we definitely were within with the shout. It's just those Juices guys are just, I mean, they've just been blisteringly fast, but also consistently. You know, I could do a few good laps here and there, Tom and Damien as well, but you know, those guys are just consistently fast, even through the traffic. They're able to do fast lap times, so fair play to those guys at Juices.
And it's difficult, isn't it, to maintain that level of pace. Try that entire sentence again. It's difficult to maintain that level of pace for that length of time. You know, I've often said throughout the broadcast, I have a huge amount of respect for endurance races because of how long you can maintain that pace for. I know I can't do it. I lose focus and make those silly mistakes even in a short sprint race, less than an hour. How difficult is it to just keep your focus for 2, 3, 4 hours, or however many stints you're doing?
It's difficult. I mean, even in these LMP2s, a double stint is sort of about 80 minutes or so, but even then it is difficult just to keep going, especially around this track, where obviously it's quite short, the corners come at you thick and fast. It's very easy just to slightly misread one of the corners, and then it messes up multiple that are connected to it. So yeah, it's very difficult to do that. And the number 15, they're just doing such a good job with that. I think if it was just Tom and Damien in the car, we would definitely be a lot closer. But I think they would just have that little bit of an edge.
Oh, you're putting yourself down too harsh there. You're keeping it on the straight and narrow, which is better than a lot of us would do, let's be honest. But we look forward to seeing you back in the car. Thank you very much, Cameron Roger, for spending the time with us. Very much appreciated, sir. Thank you kindly.
No problem. Enjoy the last 4 hours.
Oh, we certainly will, sir. We certainly will. Cameron Roger from the number 94 Berth squad, the MP2 car, currently sitting second in class, and looking forward to seeing how they're doing. Now, there has been a bit of an update penalty-wise, which not 100% sure if this is going to come out, but quite a few cars apparently have been off the server and have not notified race control upon their return. Now, this is something that stripped a few teams up, but it is very clearly defined in the rules. If you leave server for whatever reason, you must notify race control upon your return. Now, I think it is something that is being looked at. but if they didn't announce it, then they are in trouble. And the teams that are being looked at for this is the number 53 car. Oh, there's more coming in, so I won't read that list out just yet. Okay, so I won't read this out. There's several cars being looked at. We'll be updated on that one, but one team that has got themselves a 1-lap penalty is the number 166. That's the ID SimSport car. Michael Pedersen currently in control of that one. They have got a 1-lap penalty because of exactly that. So they have been caught out on that particular instance. So the other cars I was about to mention may have made a notification to signify that they were back in session, but the 166 seemingly did not. So they have been docked a lap. So that's made their drive even more difficult at the tail end of the GTE field, but they are still continuing, which is good to see. And Yeni Simoncic has brought the the DPI leading number 18 car in. And there is Michael Pedersen in the 166 car. So still pressing on, but now with another lap that they have to deal with before they could challenge Michael Francesconi. But whoa, that got a bit close between himself and the Unison Racing number 17, as looked like they were in for a bit of a wander on the exit of Junshao. Goodness me, that's got rather close. But on goes Peter Vagapov in the number 17 car. So he's going to take over the DPI lead as the number 18 is in the pits. I think it's going to stay in the hands of Yeni Simoncic. Yeni's still in the rig. So he'll probably be taking that one back out of the pits when that stop is done. And there is Yeni Simoncic. Away goes the number 18 burst car. We'll continue its chase after Peter Vagapov. More sparks. How is there anything left on the underside of those DPRs? They seem to spark more than anything else. And he comes right behind a couple of GT cars. Oh, beg your pardon, no, one GT car. That's the Master Pescara car. Number 18 has earned themselves a penalty, and that is now Miti Hoy. That's the 18 car. Oh my, that's the burst car. So that's a 1-lap penalty and a 60-second stop-go penalty. So I suspect that's two different penalties that's been enacted there. Oh my goodness. So Miti Hoy has just taken that car over and now is being landed with a penalty. Oh dear, oh dear. That's going to be difficult even for them to overcome, but if anybody can, it'll be them. It's quite a penalty to have to overcome there. So we are fast approaching the top of the hour. Just 4 and a bit hours remain. See the time at the top of the screen, 4 hours and 3 minutes of this 12-hour race remaining. Still a number of pit stops to do, still some driver changes to go through. Still have plenty of action ahead of us as the number 74 car is back in the garage. That's the Deuce's GTE car. Now, what's happened to Juha Maki Jaupi? Now, he had a disconnect earlier on, I think. So there's been trouble again for Deuce's. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm fairly sure that's the second time that Maki Jaupi has had a disconnect of some description. We'll see if we can catch a replay of what's happened there. But that's third in GTE. So that is potentially very painful if they're going to drop out of podium spot in GTE. And he was a disconnect and he is back in session again. And he's having a fair amount of lag trouble indeed. As production is saying that they're noticing a lot of lag on Maki Jaupi's, and that's that highlights actually how much the lag is really affecting his driving. When you get a very strange crowding, that PC's boiling itself potentially, and trying to sink through the floor as well. So not going well for Juices. But as for now, we have reached the top of hour number 8 of this 12-hour race. Let's have a word from our corporate sponsors.
The 2022 Endurance eRacing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flicks, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN.